Richard, let's get into it this week. What's your one big thing?
Big thing this week is the 93rd Saudi National Day is coming up on Saturday, September 23rd. We've done segments on the National Day because we find, or at least I do, but I think you share this fascination, Lucian, with the things that Saudi Arabia finds meaningful, because the National Day is the 93rd, so we've been doing this, but it commemorates the unification in 1932 of the Central Najd region with Hejaz in the west, so along the Red Sea. And these regions merged to form the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And it was named after, obviously, the House of Saud and led by the nation's first world ruler, King Abdulaziz ibn Saud. But it's a chance for Saudi citizens to celebrate their cultural heritage. They mark the day with folk dances, songs, traditional festivals. I mean, one of the cool things, and if you get the Sustug Review, our constant and relentless plugs for the Sustug Review because it's useful. We had an article this week about how in 13 cities across the kingdom, there'll be aerobatics carried out by the Royal Saudi Air Force. The Ministry of Defense announced the dates and locations across these cities. So there'll be Typhoon, F-15s, Tornadoes, F-15Cs, aircraft. In the eastern, on the Red Sea and the Gulf, there'll be the eastern and western fleets of the Royal Saudi Navy will be doing celebrations, marine processions and displays, military parades all over, biker parade. But again, we're talking about identity. And I want to say one of the really cool things in our previous episode with David Rundell, when we were talking about the impact of King Salman, he referenced Saudi nationalism. And he said, this is not Arab nationalism. This is simply, you can envision a time where a Saudi would be a very proud Muslim and a very proud Saudi at the same time. And David in his commentary said, that wouldn't really have been the case 20 years ago. And you absolutely can see that. And one of the interesting things, the Saudi National Day, which has been celebrated for 93 years, and not always celebrated, just as we mentioned, the early aughts is when it became a bigger thing. But this is different from Flag Day. Flag Day was just introduced. I mean, it's a brand new holiday in 2023, celebrated on March 11th. And Flag Day commemorates the adoption of the Saudi national flag. So that's March 11th, Saudi National Day, September 23rd, big day, founding day, again, a new celebration, celebrated on February 22nd. So when we first, Lucian, we started 2 years ago. Maybe one of the early episodes was on National Day. Since that first segment, there's been two. I mean, Flag Day has been introduced as well as Founding Day. And founding, and so, Founding Day celebrates the whole foundation of the first Saudi state. So it takes you back to the 1400s. And it's just a fascinating exercise that we talk about it all the time in narrative and self-awareness and, for lack of a better term, Saudi nationalism. And the creation, not the creation, but the cultivation and the growth and incubating of a Saudi identity, which I think is racing along, because I think every Saudi I've known for the last 40 years is very proud of being Saudi, very proud of being Muslim. But I think there's a tremendous confidence and pride in Saudi Arabia and Saudis that has grown even markedly over the last 5 years or so. So anyway, we have these three holidays now. The latest coming up September 23rd, 93rd, sort of the granddaddy of holidays, now joined by the Flag Day and Saudi Founding Day, all part of a sort of evolving, growing Saudi identity.
Congratulations to Saudis celebrating at the beginning of next week. It is usually also when you're there. There's so many little events going on. So you mentioned a lot of the sort of big celebrations and big visible parades, but there's street level stuff. Excuse me, I got a little choked up talking about it. But it is amazing, and it's like you'll have these sort of local celebrations, street to street. And I know that the cultural mission or the Ministry of Culture has so many different events sort of capturing and bringing into these younger generations the history that they're all very proud of. So anyway, I think it's a great holiday, and I think it's a great one big thing.
It is nice. They some like they'll have they'll wear a traditional attire and that sort of thing.
And the courses and stuff. It's cool. Yeah.